Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of Full Open featuring BoxBox. For those of you guys who don't know about BoxBox, why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is BoxBox. My real name is Albert. I have been streaming for about 10 years now on Twitch. Originally started with League of Legends and the Riven montages. I was the first, known Riven main to do cool things with Riven. And then at some point, my old fingers have gotten slow, so I've pivoted to TFT. That's not true. I just got really bored of solo queue. But I find TFT to be very interesting, so lately I've been streaming a lot of that. I'm not as good as all the pros, but we're high rank enough to play against them, and every now and then we'll still get a tuber. Alright? I would like to think that I'm the best streamer in TFT for farming tubers. Not for winning, but I definitely get the most tubers out of anyone at the cost of a lot of LP.
Yeah, I think you're pretty amazing at farming tubers. Your stream content is just really good. You've been streaming for 10 years. Obviously you've improved a lot over the years. What was there ever a clicked moment that you think was a really big help in
Absolutely
your
not.
streaming career?
Absolutely not.
Is more gradual?
I think the entire thing was extremely gradual, and every month I just got a little bit better than the previous month. I really don't think anyone just magically is good at streaming. Streaming is now it's 15 years old, but back then it was very new and there was no set way to stream. It was hard to study people because everybody had different circumstances of what makes their stream good. If I watched Doublelift, it's not a good example of how I can improve my stream. Copying things that Doublelift did when I played League isn't going to make my stream better. It's more like I have to watch my own audience and take notes and figure out what they like and then do more of it. It was a gradual process that happened over many months and years.
That's such a good idea because I feel like I am always trying to look at other successful streamers. Like for example, a TFT community, obviously yourself. I try copy stuff that you do. Some of it I think is just really good, like playing epic music when you're low HP. I think it's just really fun for everyone. But I actually feel like I do that way too much and not paying attention to my own viewers and seeing what they're really happy about. So I think that's already a really good tip.
Yeah, an observation I've noticed that happens a lot in TFT will be oh, I got this augment, and this augment has the highest win rate out of every single prismatic augment. And you take it, but then it's wait, maybe I don't have the right setup for this augment. And it's actually the same thing with streaming. You see K3 Soju do this thing that really gets his viewers to pog and really gets them to stay. And you're man, I should do that too. But then sometimes you might do it, you realize you might not have the correct team comp of a stream to actually do that angle. So a lot of it is this was good for this reason. So next time you're in this reason, you can look to do that. But it's never just a full direct copy of whatever you see works.
That makes a lot of sense. So basically, every person is gonna they're gonna have their own general personality, and that's gonna attract a certain type of audience, and then you have to figure out what works for that rather than just being yeah, all the top streamers do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
Because I definitely feel for my audience, it's more I'm a more I've had a lot of people in my chat tell me I'm a more chill streamer. I've had people in my chat tell me oh, they like it because I don't randomly yell during games, but it's I've been trying to emulate that from you, because for me, I think I've been trying to do things that I would want when I'm watching a stream that I enjoy. So it's I really enjoy it when I'm watching you and you yell when something cool happens. But then yeah, so maybe that's not working out for me.
Yeah, the biggest philosophy that helped me mold my stream into what it is today was just, if I was watching my stream, what would be the funniest or most entertaining thing that streamer could do to make me want to stay and keep watching? And a lot of times it's not actually something right there on the spot really funny, blurt something out. A lot of times it's actually silence. I'll give you a really good example. Something that I recently started doing, and by recently I mean in the last 2 years, something I've started doing is I am doing nothing more. It sounds very weird, but a lot of times after a very heated game, viewers, believe it or not, need a rest, but they don't want to stop watching the stream. So I will just, after an intense game, an intense session, I will just sit there staring at the camera, or I'll just stare at Reddit on my second monitor and I'll just do nothing. Like, I won't play Osu in queue. I won't start talking about random topics. I'll just
You have
sit
now
there
reached
silently for
500
like 2
flush
minutes
today.
and wait for the next game to start. And this gives viewers the break that they need to like be ready to enjoy another game. And also, it actually does give me a much needed break.
Yeah, I
It's
think
really
that would
weird.
help a lot.
But I actually learned this because of one of my roommates. But he said, Albert, he randomly told me, he's like, Albert, whenever I watch your stream and like you're in queue for 10 minutes for League, and then you start playing Osu, I just leave. And I'm like, but why would you leave? You know that you're waiting for the next game. And then he says like, I don't know, like something in my brain just says, oh, I'm not here to watch Osu. I'm here to watch League of Legends. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go find a different guy who is playing League. But if they just sit there and the queue is open, they're like, this is what I'm here for. Right, I'm here to watch League of Legends. And then they stay. It's very weird. But ever since then, I've just stopped doing things in queue a lot of the time. Because, yeah, people will be like, I didn't come here to watch BoxBox click circles while waiting for queue. I came here to watch the queue or the game.
It's so interesting because, like, for me, I'll always like struggling. It's like I felt like I had to find something to do in queue. So, like, I was like playing chess or like doing like the mini crossword on the New York Times or whatever.
Yes, I
so I
was the
always
same
felt like
way.
I needed to do something. But yeah, so basically you would recommend like not doing that as a general like rule of thumb.
Yep. And then a side note onto that, if you want to extend that one further, is you could become jacked and make your face extremely pleasant to look at. So like while they have nothing to do, they just look at your camera feed. That is something I'm working on right now. Give me 6 months. Actually, you don't even need to get jacked, but you just need to like have good skincare. Yeah, anyway, you get my idea. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, I got you. So when you do that, do you like change your I guess you don't usually like change what they're looking at, right? Like you don't like zoom in on your face or anything.
No, I would never say, all right, guys, the game's over. Everybody look at me now.
I see. Okay. So how about differences that you've experienced switching games? Because like you used to play stream League, and I guess I'm curious like right now. So I know recently like you streamed Mario speedruns as well as Valorant. What are like your like? Do you find that like do you have like a different crowd of viewers that watch you when you stream Mario or Valorant? Can you notice anything different in the chat? Does your viewer average change?
Viewership changes for sure. Based on how relevant the game is, it'll usually drop off by some percentage. So if I were to play League, it'd probably only drop by a little bit compared to TFT. I would never say I get a new audience. It'd be more like some percentage of my audience stays to watch me play anything. If I were to play competitive tic-tac-toe, most of my viewers would probably be like, I like you, BoxBox, but I'm not watching a best of 58 tic-tac-toe tournament. But if I were to play League of Legends with Disguised Toast, Scar, and Obama, people might be like, yeah, I'll stick around and watch that. So, yeah, different games have like a different percentage of viewers that I get to keep. And they also definitely require different styles. A game that I would love to stream more, but I think I'm very bad at it, is Valorant. Someone that I've studied is Tariq. He is very good at streaming. He's very good at streaming Valorant. I don't know how he does it, but his audience is very engaged when he plays. He doesn't even really talk to his audience very much. But every round that he plays, his viewers talk about a lot of things. Like, they comment on everything that happens in his game, kind of like how my audience talks about everything that happens in my games in TFT. But when I stream Valorant, I don't understand the formula to stream it. I just play the game to the best of my ability, and then it's just dead silence in the chat. Maybe they'll like pog if I get a really cool flick, but otherwise there's no interaction. And I wish I could stream more Valorant, but I've yet to solve the formula. The formula might be just be really good at the game so that you can play it on autopilot and then entertain your chat in the meantime. Because I'm not good enough at it yet to entertain people. I'm barely good enough at it to play averagely in my games right now.
But you said Tarek doesn't talk to his chat that much.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but he just like naturally it lands insane flicks, and then everybody just goes pog.
Okay, so the first thing that makes me think of is like maybe like his viewers are Valorant viewers, where like a lot of your viewers might be like TFT players, so they don't like really know what's going on. I don't know.
Yes, that is true too. If another streamer were to try to play TFT, their viewers would probably be the same way my viewers are during Valorant. They don't. If Tyler 1 started playing TFT, that'd be really funny actually. But if Tyler 1 were to start playing TFT, his viewers would probably like not talk as much because he is their viewers aren't like TFT players, so they don't have much to talk about. Yes, that is a good point.
I see. Tyler 1 is kind of interesting because he's usually, I don't watch a ton of Tyler 1, but from what I understand, he's pretty like angry pretty frequently. Maybe it's different now, so this is what I knew like 5 years ago basically. So he's obviously could have changed by now, but I know for like a lot of TFT streamers, I've always been told it's like, hey, like if you're in a bad mood, that's like really bad for streaming. But like I know for League, like there are definitely some streamers who are just like, it seems like they're always in a bad mood and it works out for them.
Ah, yes.
Tyler 1 might not be the best example. Again, this is like years ago, but I remember watching like TF Blade because I wanted to learn. He was like really good at the game, and this guy was in a bad mood like 9% of the time.
Yes, there are a lot of streamers who part of their draw is that it's a dumpster fire that people can't look away from. Some people like play up the anger for views.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. Like, I remember if I was ever solo queuing off stream and I was against Tyler 1, if I beat him, one of the first things I wanted to do was go to his stream and see like if he was gonna get mad or like if he was gonna like report his teammates. Just because like it was like something I would go to his stream and look forward to. It's not something that you or I should use. We're not those kinds of streamers. But it is something to know, like, when you have an unlucky game of TFT, if you get mad in a very funny way, it's actually good. After every stream, I always feel like a certain way based on how well I did on the stream. And the certain way doesn't usually mean I won a lot of games and gained LP. Or like, oh, I feel bad because I lost a lot of LP. It's almost always like, how do I feel like I played those games off? Obviously, a first place is really entertaining to watch. But on my best days of streaming, on my best TFT days, I will make a 6th place really funny. On my best days, like, I might have a low roll game and I'll be about to go 7th or 6th, but instead I'll do a spectacular throw, get 8th, lose a little bit more LP, but I'll end the game on like a bunch of laughs and keck W's, and that's when I feel like I'm doing good streaming.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
I would say? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say there are days where I feel like shit. And it's not about the LP gained, but it's because after a bad game, I sit there, I argue with viewers, I say, no, you're dumb. And then some guy in chat will be like, BoxBox, you're dumb. I'll be like, no, you're dumb. Type Pog if you think that guy is dumb. But instead of that, like, or I feel bad because I'm sitting there reacting to haters or like mean comments instead of just like, that game sucked, let's move on. Sorry, everybody's typing Pog right now. Guys. Okay, but yes, on good days, like, I'll ignore those comments and I'll complain about the bad luck in a way that makes people want to stay and watch the next game.
Okay, yeah.
Usually it involves, like, making comments about the units somehow. Like, I think the deface is a wonderful emote. Sometimes I'll call a unit, you know, a really gentle, useless bitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have now reached 200 defaces today.
This Lulu is a useless bitch, and I'll blame the entire game on her. It was her fault that I lost that game. It wasn't my bad decisions. It wasn't bad luck. I invested my faith in the wrong unit, and I'm just so disappointed in you, Lulu. Right? It gets everyone to be like, "Oh, like, poor Lulu." It leads to like an entertaining ending to a bad game. On good days, I can do that a lot more.
That's really awesome. I noticed, like, I feel like in your stream in particular, for like all TFT streamers, you have like your own, like, set of like the deface, for example. Like, you can say that and you already know they're gonna deface. Like, I already know. In fact,
you have now reached 300 defaces today.
Maybe like 2 games ago, you said you're gonna sell Lilia, and I defaced, and then like a million other people defaced. But like, yeah.
It takes a lot of time, but over time, with any audience, you'll get used to like the way they react, and you can almost play them like an instrument. It's like, my Twitch chat needs some flushes today. All right, Lilia, you sexy bitch, get on my team.
Has there ever been like like memes that like your community kind of started up on their own, that like you
You have
didn't
now
like
reached
or
600
anything, or
flush
do you
today.
always like kind of lean into it, or has that
I
like
think
happened recently at all?
there have been like uh, there have been times where repeated spam jokes, or for the record, I love like the inside jokes. I love the callbacks. I think it's really fun to like reference something that happened previously. Uh, and repeated jokes. Like every time I play the United song, everybody's using the exact same copy pasta. There's a lot of those copy pastas that happen in my chat. Any BoxBox regular will remember kind of like all the copy pastas. And I bet some of them have them saved, and like you see one person spam it, it's very easy to copy and paste and spam yourself. There have been ones that I didn't like in the past, but I've learned that they'll always be spammed for a certain reason, and I just be careful to avoid those reasons.
Okay.
Like there was one a while ago in a previous set with Cho'Gath where I was like, oh, this unit's so bad, I don't want it. And every time I like passed up on a Cho'Gath, my chat would spam like, hi, this is Cho'Gath's mom. I can't believe you didn't pick him for gym class.
I remember
it was
this.
like funny for
You
a
have
little
now
bit,
reached 200 jams today.
but I didn't really like it because me skipping a Cho'Gath happens very often, and I didn't want to call back to this joke twice a game. So I just tried very hard to not encourage it for a bit. Oh, originally I specifically said, guys, don't do that, and in very Twitch chat fashion, it made them do it more.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I tried ignoring it, and then I think the final one that worked was I said, guys, I don't find this joke that funny. Let's do better ones. And then everyone's like, okay, smiley face. And then because they like me, we were able to move on from it.
Wow. That's so smart and interesting. That's such a good way to do it.
Yes, people like you or me don't have many hate watchers. People either watch you because they like you, or they'll just go watch someone else. Someone like Tyler One has a lot of hate watchers and a lot of fans. So if you were to ask his fans to do something, some people would not do it out of spite. But people like you or me are pretty safe to just ask a genuine favor every now and then, and usually it'll be respected.
How do you feel about like, I guess like hate watchers? Like if someone's like watching your channel like a lot, but then they, like for example, when you're doing your unranked to masters and they're like trying to like stream snipe you and grief your units or whatever. I mean that sucks, but like,
oh yes,
it's just something. It's just like part of the. It's just something you have to deal with. It's just like there's no way around it. That's kind of like how you have to wait in a long line when you go to Disney World.
When I did my unranked to masters challenge, I thought that I was gonna just get like first, second, first until like very close to masters. But what ended up happening was some challenger player. Well, I assume that he's challenger. Q stepped me for like 25 out of my 50 games. He also made a brand new account. Q stepped me for 25 out of my 50 games, and then he just like he instead got first place in all these games, lowering my average placement from 1.5 to 2.5. He just kicked my ass at every single game, and I guarantee you what that guy wanted. I don't know who it was. The name was just like a bunch of random letters. I guarantee you what that guy wanted was for me to get really angry and get really mad over it. It was very hard, but for the entire 40 hours marathon, I just didn't really say anything. And like, yeah, it sucks to have to tolerate that. You're playing at a massive disadvantage, but in the end, that is one of those things that you just come to terms with because we're playing the game for money. We're playing the game as a job, and there will be some unexpected hardships because we're getting a paycheck while playing a game that most people normally just play for fun. So there's a lot of these invisible hardships, and as a streamer, it is your job to either tackle it head on or recognize that the best answer is to just deal with it and like not comment on it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think like for me, like my community is still pretty small. I got stream sniped once, and I just said like, hey, like I know whoever's in here is listening. Can you just not stream snipe me next game? And then they did. Because at that point, I was awake for like, I don't know, like 12 hours. I was just like, hey, like I do not want to stay up another like 12 hours. Thank you.
Ah, that's very nice of him to not do that.
Yeah. So I know like you work a lot on your stream when you're not streaming.
Yes.
How would you say like you split that time? Like maybe percent wise, like how much are you devoting to like ideating or like actually like doing things like maybe like I don't know, like something like I had to do recently was like audio splitting, just like tech stuff or
I would say this
YouTube,
number,
TikTok, stuff like that.
this percentage will be different for every streamer. I have some friends that are popular streamers, and some of them just stream. Like K3 Soju seems exactly like the kind of guy who just turns on his stream. I don't think he does that much work outside of his stream. He just streams a lot. Meanwhile, I have a friend who is a very beautiful woman, and more than 50% of her time is spent on being beautiful.
Interesting.
Yes, like more than half of her time. If I ask her like what she's doing tomorrow, she'll be like, "Oh, like I'm doing this appointment to remove the hair on my butt and my neck," and it works very well because she's very beautiful and it is a very big draw. And then she's also like entertaining, and people will watch her because she is a beautiful woman who is also a good natural entertainer. For me, I would say I used to have like an 80-20 split, 80% stream, 20% like working on the stuff behind the scenes. Actually, I'd say it went as far as 70-30. I definitely like had months or even years where I spent a lot of time setting up things. Lately, I've definitely just been playing. Right now, I've recognized that the best thing I can do for my stream is be better at the game.
Okay.
I've streamed for so long that like the solely absorbing information about my chat and finding out what they like just happens on stream now. I don't have to study it off stream anymore. Originally, I did like watch my old VODs. I used to when I was 21, I would watch my own VODs and I would say, "Oh, big blunder, chatting. Albert, you should have made this joke," or "This was a beautiful opportunity to make a callback to this thing." And I would write these down on a notepad document, and I would have them on my second monitor when I streamed the next day. It'd be like, "Your blunders from yesterday. Things to watch out for here." Or like, "Oh, like in that game, you got really mad and you called out the person. You gotta stop doing that, Albert." I would have all these like little post-it notes there about like mistakes that I made in previous streams. I used to just study my VODs, or I would study my YouTube videos and I would look at the parts where people laugh and I would see what I could have done to make it even funnier and try to like min-max the jokes. Nowadays, I would like to think I've streamed enough where that process kind of comes naturally. After a moment where I farm pogs, I think to myself for a few seconds, like, "Oh, I could have actually done this better if I delivered it like this." Or there's a lot of ways to improve these, right? Comedy is really subjective. It could be as small as like, "Oh, the music timing was really off. Oh, the music was kind of overshadowing it." Or this is one that some people might see this as like, no, it's not bad at all. But like sometimes I'll play with like someone like Celine. Her Twitch name is Star Smitten. She's a nice girl, and she does scream. And sometimes before like a scream, I know the kinds of things that'll make her scream. So before I say the thing that's gonna make her scream, I'll just turn my Discord volume up really high. I think it's really funny. And then she'll scream, and then it'll blow up people's earphones, and then everybody starts spamming the way too dank emote. But yes, back then, it used to be like 70-30, 70% streaming and 30% preparing and studying. Now it's like 90-10. I work on a few things behind the scenes, but mostly I just want to grind hours and play more TFT.
That makes a lot of sense. That kind of reminds me of like myself playing poker. Like when I first starting out, I was studying all the time, but like I don't play anymore because I'm streaming TFT. But like last year, I would just like do mostly playing because like there's so much diminishing returns in studying now, right? Like know everything, not everything, but yeah. So I guess like I've been streaming for like about half a year now. Do you recommend that I review my VODs and take notes? Like I hadn't thought about doing that, but I think that's a really good idea.
I think you should. Well, watching your own VODs is kind of hard. Like most people hate watching themselves.
It sounds really painful.
But I think what you can do is look at your clips. People will naturally highlight things that they found interesting.
Okay.
And you can look at those, see why they like them, and it can give you insight on how to get them more.
Okay.
Sometimes these clips will happen out of pure luck. Like, you get up from your chair to go to the bathroom, and a meteor falls through your camera feed. Yeah. People are going to clip that. It's complete luck. You can't control that. But sometimes they'll clip it because you did something particularly interesting in the middle of a game, and then you can write that down and be like, interesting. You can look at the noted emote and just write it down for later and make this happen more. Another thing a really big tip that helped me out was just the awareness that if you have 500 viewers, these 500 people are not the same from hour 1 to hour 2. Actually, like, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere like 50% of them cycle, which means if you have 500 viewers at the beginning of your stream and then 500 viewers in an hour, that's like half the people left and another 250 people came in. Yes. So sometimes I'll make a joke and I'm just like, man, that was such a good joke. I'm going to do it again in 3 hours. Because the truth is, anyone who likes you enough to watch for 3 hours will not care that you repeated your joke. I'm going to get one guy in chat who's like, actually, BoxBox, you said that joke 3 hours ago. But I just don't respond to them. You love me enough to watch me for 3 hours. You can take a repeated joke.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like, man, you mentioned this earlier about like when people are like, if you're in a bad mood and like people are like flaming you after a game, it's like, oh, you should have bought Shyvana or something for like, and you get angry. I struggle with that a lot. I feel like where I get tilted, especially like sometimes like they're just like trying to learn. Like people will be like, shouldn't you have done this instead? I'm like, well, I did this for a reason. But then they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you or whatever. I'm like, no, it's my fault. I should have gotten offended.
Yes. Responding to like the backseating, I think is only good if you have a way to make it interesting. If it's just out of like you're annoyed, then it's usually bad value. I definitely do that a lot, which is bad. I'm trying to do it less.
I'm curious. So you never have as far as I know, like when I see you go live, you almost like, or basically never have like a short stream where you like only stream for like one game and then like you're just in a really bad mood, so you end your stream. That never happens for you these days, right?
Nope. The reason I never do short streams is because the value of a stream, at least in terms of one of the oldest metrics in the book, total views. Total views is something that sponsors look at. Even platforms look at. Like if you are ever, once you get big enough to like be in negotiations with platforms, they look at that total view number. It's literally like your cock size when it comes to negotiations. This is a number that I want to get as big as possible over time. And when you get total views, when you stream, the first 3 or 4 hours for most people is
you have now reached 700 flush today.
Once I'm at my peak viewership, I'm farming like, I don't know, 15,000 views per hour. And I'm just farming that for like every hour. But it takes like 4 hours to get there. So
you're
really
basically talking about like concurrent viewer average, basically? Or is that different?
Like it's kind of like viewer hours. Like how many hours of your content was watched at all today? If I stream 2 hours, I don't know what the exact number would be. Let's just say if I stream 2 hours, it'd be like 5,000 hours. If I stream 4 hours, it'd probably be 20,000. And if I stream 8 hours, it gets even better. The amount of like progress farmed per hour goes up.
So basically, it's a lot better to do an 8-hour stream than like 4 2-hour streams.
Yes, that's what I mean to say. I would rather not stream and then stream long than to just short stream.
I think that's a really good tip.
Sometimes I will do a short stream just because I want my viewers like to see my face and remember that I exist. But I do recognize that in terms of like farming the stats, it's not good at all. And then also usually when I do that, I end up streaming for 16 hours anyway.
I see. So about the stats, we talked about this earlier, like when you stream Mario or Valorant, like let's say Valorant, like when you stream Valorant, like what percent of like your viewers, what do you have on average compared to TFT? %50. Okay. But like you're okay with that because it's like it's fun for you. You want to like do some variety, and it's like that's like the main reason.
Oh heavens, no, I'm not okay with that. It should be 100. If it's not 100, I'm doing something wrong. That is why I don't like streaming Valorant very often, because I think I'm very bad at it. But also the only way to get better at it is to stream it more. So every now and then I'll just take an L and have lower viewership so I can improve at streaming.
Well, I kind of feel like no matter who you are, I mean, like if you're like a pure variety streamer, but I feel like no matter who you are, like if you mainly stream one game, you're gonna definitely lose viewers if you stream another game.
Sort of. There was one game that I've streamed as a pivot from TFT and League that actually had more viewers than my average, and it was Mario.
Okay.
Mario 64.
I noticed you had a lot when you were streaming Mario.
Yes, and the reason why is because it had like a storyline. I was invited to a tournament of pros, and I didn't know anything. So everyone wanted to see like how I, the guy who literally am starting from day one, 2 weeks before the tournament, can compete against people who've been speedrunning the game for 4 years. And I was improving surprisingly fast, so people wanted to see like how that journey went. After the journey was over, like after the tournament happened, it went back to like 50%. But it's a good study case. Like, oh, like there was a storyline. It was lucky that the guy at the time, the speedrunner, simply invited me into this tournament. It gave me a very interesting pivot for a few weeks. It was very refreshing, and it makes me think, how can I create this situation more? So then something that I did later was I did this like OTV race to Masters, where I just said like, hey, to you 25 people, if you hit Masters, I'm gonna give you $1,000. And it didn't work as well as I wanted to, but it gave a few people in the OTV and friend circle a reason to stream TFT when their viewers normally wouldn't watch them do it, because the viewers want to like see if they could make it to the goal. It gave them an excuse to stream TFT without just being like, oh, I just feel like playing TFT. It was like, oh, we gotta get that BoxBox goal. Like, I guarantee you, these streamers are all so rich that $1,000 is like what they make in 6 hours or less. But to say, yeah, we're competing for BoxBox's $1,000 prize. Like, come watch to see if we can hit Masters before the other people. And I guarantee you, these people all knew they were gonna lose. They all knew they were gonna lose, but they still got to stream the journey for a little bit for like, and keep it interesting. They got like a nice break from whatever they previously streamed, and I think that's very powerful. So I am someone who wants that to happen to them more often. So I am down to be the one to set it up for some people, hoping that some of them will do it back. It's like we're 69ing each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's very
Yes.
Flush.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for the next question.
Okay. Let me think.
Hello, extra Emily. Nice to see you here.
I guess so I talked about like differences in your personal experience with TFT and Valorant. How about like in general, like not related to you specifically, between streaming TFT and Valorant? Because I've heard TFT is a good game because like viewers kind of feel like they're playing the game with you, and also like you have that downtime where you can interact with chat, whereas like in Valorant, you're like focused when you're making a play.
I hope that they don't think that they're playing the game with me. When I win, I won. All right. I'm tired of my viewers saying, we did it. We got first. No, I won. This was all due to my hard work. They did nothing. They're just here to spectate. But no, on a more serious note, I think that TFT has a good formula. Yes, games, I have like an internal rating of games of how good are they to stream. TFT is surprisingly one of the best ones. Most competitive games have this formula where there's like these short sessions of like 40 minutes, and people can kind of come in at any point during the game and they know what's going on. You can come in halfway through a TFT game and say like, oh, like, okay, all right, we're playing Astral Mages. Like, all right, I hope this guy hits Rise 3. Yeah. But if you were to come into the middle of Uncharted 4, a very good story-based game with a beautiful, wonderfully Giga Chad main character, you just come in halfway through, you're so lost. You don't understand anything, so you just leave. It's so bad.
Interesting.
I would love to stream these story-based games. They're so much fun, and I love the feeling. Like, the most powerful feelings I've ever gotten in video games is playing like a 40 to 60 hour long game that has like an actually good storyline. My favorite like all-time story-based series are
Fire Emblem.
Yes, Fire Emblem, Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright. These are all games that I wish I could stream, but I can't because they would only be inclusive to people who have no life and can watch the entire thing from start to finish. even if I've tried to be like, guys, we're streaming Fire Emblem 7 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday, and we're always going to do it for 2 hours. So if you want to follow along my journey, it's really easy for you to do so.
Yeah.
But then people miss one day and they're just like, all right, I'm out.
I see.
They don't want to study a VOD for 2 hours to be able to be in context later. No,
The cash out,
people who come to Twitch are not here to study. They're here to like be quickly entertained very quickly and effortlessly. They want to just go to your stream and already be in the know without any effort. So TFT, Valorant, League of Legends, Hearthstone, Overwatch, these games have that formula. And then, yes, I think TFT is even better. People think strategy games are boring. Strategy games are actually some of the best games to stream because they give you so much time to talk and show off your personality. I think it is one of the most critically underrated parts of TFT that a lot of streamers, like 95% of TFT streamers, don't use. I'll click on any random TFT streamer. Odds are they're just playing the game. They're just talking. They're not even calling their units a bitch. They're not even like telling stories about their life or like that cool thing that they did earlier. There's so much time to do it. Like when I play League of Legends, I'm not going to start a team fight.
You have now reached 400 D faces today.
I'm not going to start a team fight and just be like, yes, I went to the grocery store the other day. No, I'm going to be focusing on fighting. But in TFT, like, I'm going to spend the first 15 seconds making my actions. Yes, technically, it would be optimal for my game if I spent the whole 30 seconds thinking about my actions. But no, I'll just do it in 15 seconds. My quality decision's a little bit lower. This is an unfortunate, like, truth of streaming TFT. Yeah. You're always going to be a little bit lower LP than you could be if you try hard at off stream. That's fine. And then I'm going to spend the other 15 seconds brainstorming things I can talk about. Yeah, it's a criminally underrated part of TFT. And also, TFT has like this magic formula of not only does the game allow for session-based, like, easily repeatable formula like League of Legends, it is also ridiculously popular. There are a lot of people, like, closeted TFT enjoyers. For example, Valkyrae. She is like a queen of streaming on YouTube. She is ridiculously popular with millions of followers, and she regularly appears in mainstream media. She loves TFT. She absolutely loves it. So does like X Choco Bars. So does Toast, Skara, Obama. People just love TFT, and they play it off stream. A very unexpected collab I had was with CDog VA. He's a Japanese or a white guy living in Japan. He's very popular with the Weeb crew. He has his own podcast. He's immensely popular with Iron Mouse and VTubers. And he just like hit me up because he's like, yo, I want to learn TFT. And he was like, you seem like the main guy, TFT guy with personality. Let's do a collab. And then he told me like, yeah, like he said he could never stream TFT because his audience isn't built for it, but he still loves the game. People play a lot of it. And it has one really also useful thing that nobody ever talks about this for some reason. But it is not easy to figure out.
Yes.
So when I played League of Legends on stream 10 years ago, one of the main things that helped me grow really big was I was one of the people that you came to watch if you wanted to find out things faster than others. Like, for example, Riven gets a slight rework. Everybody comes to my channel because they already know. If you want to find out how to play Riven, you just go watch BoxBox do it, and you can just see what he does. It's kind of like how on a new patch of TFT, everybody watches Soju to see what he does, and then they can kind of copy it. Literally, if Soju just high rolls, a Vlad 3 games in a row, and he plays triple Guinsu's Vlad and gets first place 3 games in a row, it will be the meta. I don't care how good it is, it'll be the meta. Because tens of thousands of people, even more when you consider like cycles, are going to see Soju pop off with triple Guinsu's Vlad 3 games in a row. They're going to do it in their games, and then it's going to get copied. It trickles down very quickly. Especially in a game like TFT where there's so many opponents. So when I stream Riven all those years ago, I'll have some inventive new build and I'll start doing it. I'll beat someone with it. They're gonna be like, wow, this build's broken. They're gonna play it. They're gonna beat someone with it. That guy's gonna do it. It spreads very fast. Not to mention the fact that there are thousands of people watching me do the build itself. So yes, TFT is not easy to figure out. The game changes so often that there's always just like a new set of correct things to do. For example, in set 5, one of the things you almost always did was just pre-level after the creep round or before the creep round ended. You almost always just pre-level because those 3 costs were really good units, and to even just get a 1-star 3 cost was really good. Now in this current set, it's the almost opposite. You almost never pre-level because getting that 2-star Skarner is just so good. The game changes so often, and people will just keep on. You get free viewership because people want to see what you do first. So, like for you, to turn this back to you, the fact that you hit rank 1 is huge because now when people see a new change, you are one of the people that has been established as like you clearly get things fast, so they will watch you to understand it. It is something that you can leverage to get more viewership.
Interesting.
In the end, though, I think something very important. In the end, you must learn to be an entertainer.
Yes.
There are a lot of streamers that are just good players, but you're not going to be a good player forever.
Yeah.
Being good goes in and out based on a lot of factors. I don't know. You're having a bad month. You're having a good month. The patch just happens to favor your play style. You won't always be a good player, but you can always be entertaining. So for me, I did not feel like I was good at entertaining at all until I was around 20 years old. That's 4 years into my career. But back then, I was good enough at the game that people didn't care. I got a free pass because I was the top ranked Riven main for a while. And eventually, I was not the top ranked Riven main. There was a bunch of really youngster, super fast Riven players that just were impossible to keep up with. There's literally, I think I was probably 23 when this happened. There was a 13-year-old who hit rank 1, General Sniper. It was an LCS player, his younger brother, and then he just loves Riven, and I was just oh, this guy is too fucking fast. But thank God I'm funny now, or at least I hope I am, because I still can hold an audience despite not being the top ranked Riven main anymore.
Interesting. So going back a little while back, you mentioned a whole bunch of big streamers like Valkyrie who enjoy TFT but they don't stream it. I think I got a little bit lost on your point. I think the point you're trying to make is TFT is a great game that a lot of people like, but I was wondering why don't they stream TFT?
They can't. If someone like Valkyrie streams TFT, it would be death because their viewers don't play TFT, or at least not a large percentage of them. Anyone who doesn't have a TFT specific audience can't stream TFT. It's just their viewers are going to be very confused. Sometimes I'll get a raid from somebody. One time I got a Shroud raid, right? The Valorant streamer and the CSGO god. But it's does Shroud's viewers know how to play TFT? I was okay, I could either play this game as I normally do, and then all his viewers are just left out, or I could sit there and be okay, guys, this is teamfight tactics. I'm trying to use my gold in a better, smarter fashion than my opponent. It's actually very hard to explain why the game is fun, unless you've played it 20 times. So whenever I get a raid, I'm just it's going down. Unless it's a K3 Soju raid, the raid is going out the window. No one's staying. I cannot make you love TFT. I can only grab people who love TFT already and then make them love me.
But do you think that's different with, for example, you playing Valorant? Because, if you're a TFT player, if you've never played Valorant, you can, kind of tell, you're trying to shoot the other guy before he shoots you. So do you think that's very different?
Yes. Valorant is one of the easiest games in the world to understand. Wow, he shot the other guy. Wow, he defused the bomb. They just need to see the kill feed pop up. League of Legends was also kind of like that. You didn't you didn't need to understand all these micro mechanics I'm doing on Riven. You just need to see that I killed the other guy, and I'm better than him.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
but for TFT,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's a lot harder to appreciate those fine details. So that is definitely a disadvantage of TFT. If I got raided by K3 Soju and I was playing Valorant, his viewers might stay if I'm having a good game. But yeah, when I get raided by Shroud and I'm playing TFT, they're never staying. They're all gone.
Okay. So on the topic of raids, I want to talk to you about that because obviously some days I'll get a big raid, and I guess what are your thoughts? Should I stream as long as I possibly can if I get a big raid?
Oh, dude, the math on how to handle a raid gets so intense. I actually love it. I think it's kind of like the think fast augment. You have this very limited time to make a really good impression on so many new faces. And how you do it is different every time. And you are immediately in a big conflict of, should I cater to my viewers, or should I cater to the new people that just came in? And maybe it's bad that I do this, but I always do the math on how large is the raid coming in versus my current audience. If I have 5,000 viewers and I get rated for 500, I'm gonna mostly keep doing what I normally do. If I lose half of that raid, like, it doesn't matter to me. But if I get rated by Shroud, I will make an effort to accommodate these new people, because that is larger than my old audience. Like, I want to there's so many new people that it's worth it to, like, give my viewers a slightly worse time. My viewers never want to see me be like, all right, guys, this is TFT. I'm going to try to get this green guy. I'm not going to tell him that he's Tariq. I'm going to say, I'm going to get this green buff dude, and I just hope that I can 3-star him really soon. And, like, yeah, it's kind of a worse experience for my viewers. I'm sure they understand. I'm sure anyone who actually likes me understands that I'm trying really hard to accommodate the new people. It's a lot of math on, like a value proposition. I'm trying to maximize this like rare hour. So I would say it's the same for you. You should do the math on how large is the incoming raid versus yours. How hard is it? Like, how much of a deterrent is it that you start accommodating for these new people? Yeah, for you, like, hopefully the raid's coming from, like, Soju or even me, and it's just like, you just do what you already do, right? Just, like, be a little bit higher energy. Yeah. But if you get a Shroud raid, it'd be very difficult, I would imagine. I don't know how you should play it, but you should definitely, like, dumb down your talk and be more catering to brand new TFT players.
Okay. I think my question is more long term, as in, like, hours later. Like, should you, like, push yourself to, like, stream, like, until you're about to pass out if you get, like, a really big raid?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so there's this concept of good hours and bad hours. Sometimes I'll stream 8 hours and I'll be like, ooh, after, like, hour 6 it started to be bad hours. I actually did this yesterday. This is, like, a really bad calculation to do, but I did not want to stream yesterday. I did it because I felt like I should. I did it because I knew Soju was ending his stream, and one, I rated him, so you might raid me back, right? It's not good to think of the math like that, but I was conscious of it. Another thing, if Soju, the only streamer in TFT who is bigger than me, is not streaming, I will be number one, and these are very valuable hours. So I did stream, but then I immediately regretted it because I was so low energy. I had streamed 32 hours over 2 days before that. I couldn't put in the energy to make the games good. I couldn't top 4 most of my games, and I was kind of cranky. I was like, oh, I almost feel like this stream did bad value to my overall career.
Okay.
So I would say if you get a big raid and you can stream long, I would do it. A lot of the value I've gained from, like, random collabs, like, I actually did I had a Rust arc on my stream where for, like, a few weeks I played Rust. I played roleplay Rust. And I had a Grand Theft Auto roleplay arc where for a month I played roleplay on the No Pixel server. And I got raids from these people. And every time I got a big raid, I would really push myself until I felt like I was starting to leave a bad impression on people. And then I would stop. I would capitalize on that higher viewership, make a lot of good impressions, and then I would stop when I feel like, oh yeah, like, if I keep going, it would just probably be like a bad game where I get cranky and make people not be a fan of me. The biggest question at the end of the day is when people stop watching your stream, they're going to ask themselves, do I want to watch that guy next time I see him available? And you always want that answer to be yes. So if you ever think you're going to stream and you're going to make someone change their answer to no, you should not stream. That is why sponsors is really scary. If I have a sponsor at 8 p.m. and I'm in a shitty mood, I'm forced to stream through it. So even though a lot of times the sponsors are really chill, it's just like, yo, check out this code or check out this product, use promo code BoxBox, get 50% off your order. If I get 25 sales, we get 100 subs. Even though they're very chill, I am so scared because I have to, not only do I have to be live, I have to be live before that. And if I don't want to be a greedy fuck who just squeezes money out of my viewers, I need to stream after that too to thank my viewers for supporting me during the sponsor segment. There are a lot of streamers who just stream 30 minutes before their sponsor segment, stream their sponsor's 2-hour segment, and they're just like, cool, bye guys. And I think that's so bad. I think like these people aren't watching you play Raid Shadow Legends because they want to watch Raid Shadow Legends content. They're doing it because they support you, and like the least you can do is then give them what they want to see afterwards. That's what will make them want to support you next time you play Raid Shadow Legends for even more money. And it's this like feedback. You are 69ing your viewers, all right?
Yeah.
You're giving me what I want. I'm giving you what you want, and then next time we can like do it even more.
You have now reached 800 flush today.
I'm sorry, I went really off topic. What was the question?
No, I think that was pretty on topic. Well, the original question was just like, how hard, like, should you push yourself to stream like way more hours if you get rated? Was the original question.
Oh yeah. I always do if I can.
But yeah, sponsors. I've only done one sponsor stream. I did it a few weeks ago for a mobile game. They said they would give me a base rate of like 1,500, and then if I got 175 people to download and get level 5, then I would get like a double that. I think I got like 4 people to download.
It's ridiculously hard.
So, yeah.
Whenever I have those goals, I almost never reach them. I'll tell you who does reach them. Girls.
Okay.
Girls reach them very easily. I think that a lot of female streamers just have fans that are more diehard, and like I've heard of people who like, all right guys, if we get 10 people, if we get 200 people to sign up for using my Raid Shadow Legends code and get to level 10, like I'll do this pool stream. And then some guy, there'll be a lot of people who like on multiple phones, they just like farm it, or like they'll ask their friends to do it. It is very powerful to VTubers. VTubers have like a very like powerful following. Like they'll do anything for you.
VTubers.
This can be like a good and a bad thing.
Why VTubers though?
I think that VTubers just have like a really diehard audience. Like
okay.
Yeah, I would just say their fans will really do anything for them. And they're a lot more. I would say a VTuber really plays into like what their audience wants, whereas more a lot of like non-VTuber streamers kind of just be who they are and like be entertaining.
How do you define a VTuber though?
Like the anime avatar?
Yeah, but I'm saying like I feel like don't a lot of people just kind of like just do the same that they would normally stream except they use an avatar? Because the way you frame that, it's like they're a completely separate.
Yes, I definitely think they are.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You know more than me, so
it's a lot more prevalent.
That just sounds
on
so
YouTube.
weird, but yeah.
But yes, VTubers like you, the really successful ones, you don't know their face at all, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, humans have imperfections. My face, acne. I'm a little chubby right now. My hair, not perfect. Everything else is perfect. Everything else about my body is perfect. But yeah, there is a lot of things wrong with my body. I could always look better. But the VTuber model, you can be perfect. You will pay money for a good model maker to like rig up a model that is perfect. And if it's not perfect, you'll look at it, figure out why it's not perfect, pay more money to make it perfect. You are the perfect woman or man. I've actually seen some really popular male VTubers recently. And so like your fans, you are just like the ideal person because they don't know what you look like. All right. I could literally look like a giant thumb. But if my model is a jacked Giga Chad and I was literally Kirito from Sword Art Online and I had a wonderful voice to go with it, my fans would do anything for me because it's like a fantasy fulfilling thing. I feel like they see me as like the perfect angel because I will try really hard to never let them see any imperfections of me. But when I stream as I'm a human, I have many imperfections and it's very obvious. I just feel like with VTubers, there are a lot of people who will be like, my king or my queen, of course, I'll use my phone and my mom's phone and my sister's phone and level up a Raid Shadow Legends account at level 10 for you. It's the least I could do for my king or queen, depending on which gender you are.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, I would have never thought of that, like ever. I feel like even you like gave me the prompt and it's like try to figure out the difference. I've never thought about that.
Yes,
So
there's a lot of
interesting.
upsides and downsides to this. An example of a downside, while it sounds really nice to have fans that'll literally do anything for you, you will also have a lot of fans that are too obsessed with you.
Yeah.
There was a very popular VTuber in the last year who she was like a very beautiful woman, beautiful anime girl. I don't know what she looks like in real life. And it was leaked that she had a boyfriend, and she got canceled. And I don't think that she ever talked about being in a relationship or being single. Like, it wasn't a selling point that she was single, but it was just came out that she was in a relationship. And so many people were so hurt that they canceled her over it.
Yeah.
It was literally just like she alt-tabbed to Discord by accident, and I was like, her saying like, I can't wait to see you tonight. And that was it. And she was fucked.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. Like, I could see why that would happen, but it is, yeah, I get it.
Yes. So yeah, upsides and downsides. You or me are more moderate people. I wouldn't want any of my fans to die for me, and much to their dismay, I'm not going to die for them. It's a very casual relationship of I hope you watch me because you find me funny, and I hope that you like me enough to watch my ad breaks so that I can make a living.
I see. And not just VTubers, but you think like for a lot of like attractive female streamers, it's a lot of the same audience as well. A lot of the things you were saying for VTubers like would also apply to that.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, there's plenty. Like, I hope to not come across as a sexist.
No, I think
you have now reached 500
I think that's like
faces
a very
today.
real thing, and I know like I'm very liberal. But, like, if you pretend that doesn't exist, then, like, you're just fucking trolling.
Yeah, there are a lot of, like female streamers that are just, like, also really funny. But
yeah,
I'm mostly talking about the people who make it a point, like they half the point of the reason why you watch their stream is because they're very attractive. These people will have those kinds of fans, and it's good and bad.
Okay. I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
I think we'll wrap up. One, I know you're really good at hand gestures. Is that something like you have to learn? Because that's something I am very bad at. Like, I almost never use hand gestures when I'm streaming. Do you think that's something I need to learn?
So the reason why I use hand gestures, right, is because I want to make my webcam feed more interesting. Yes. This is something that I actually learned from watching a few VTubers for a little bit. But basically, VTubers have specific buttons. Okay, this is like a really deep, dark secret of VTubing. But, like, they plan out their movements way in advance. Like, if a VTuber has, like, a shocked expression on their model, they have to press, like, F4 on their keyboard to look shocked. So before they even go, huh? They have to, it's actually, huh? Psh, right? And press the button to look shocked and, like, sync it up correctly. It's a really big immersion ruining thing once you know that. But if you weren't aware of it, it would look like a really fun animated person is having really insane reactions to this thing. So in general, having an interesting webcam feed is a way to up the value of your stream.
Wow.
It's one of those things that, like, it's free value. You might as well do it.
I guess I wouldn't say, like,
be stupid with it, but use it to emphasize things.
Okay, so is that something that, like, came more naturally to you, or is that something, like, you had to learn over the years?
This just came from, like, I watch streams every now and then I like it when they do it, so I do it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, one last question. I'm sure you've heard that, like, for a smaller streamer who's streaming for, like, maybe, like, 3 viewers, you have to, like, get lucky to get exposure. What are your thoughts about that? So basically, like, let's say you had, like, a 10K average, a 1K average, a 100K average, and, like, a 5 average streamer, and then, like, you magically restarted them completely, like, witness protection program, right? Like, no one knows who they are, and they start their careers completely over. Do you think they would all get back to where they are in a few years?
That's a good question. So, let's say you have a 500 viewer streamer. Restart them back to 0. They have no following. Nobody knows that they exist. Can this 500 viewer streamer get back to 500 viewers? I would say the answer is Less than 50%. Less than 50% chance they do. And I think it gets harder and harder to become a successful streamer on Twitch or any platform because the market gets more and more saturated. Every year, there are more and more streamers than to viewers. The number of streamers goes up by a lot, and the number of viewers doesn't go up by that much. You would have to perform even better than you would before. But I think the number changes quite a bit once you get to like the higher end. I think almost everyone who has over 10K viewers is there for a reason. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
They might have gotten lucky to initially explode their numbers. I like to use Ludwig as an example. I saw a clip of Ludwig for the very first time when he was a 200 viewer streamer. This was like his 3rd month of streaming. I as soon as I saw this clip, it was a very basic clip. It was him playing Mario Party 4, and there's a mini game where you just mash the A button, and that's it. You just see if you win. After that, like every time you press the A button, a domino appears, and all 4 players press it as fast as they can for 10 seconds, and then you just see who did the best. Yeah. And what I thought was very interesting was he made this game very entertaining. He played wild music, and he was like very, very exaggerated with his A movements, and then the way he celebrated was very peculiar. And I looked him up afterwards. I was very interested in him. He only had 200 viewers, but then I realized he was only on his 3rd month of streaming. And then I looked at his stats. I saw like he never got rated. He was just like this dude who just played games and was just that charming and funny. And as soon as I saw the clip, I was like, okay, I know that this guy's going to become famous very soon. And now Ludwig is, signing multi-tens of $millions deals with YouTube and putting on like $1 million events. If Ludwig were to go back to 0, I'm sure that he could climb up very quickly. I don't know if it's to the same extent, but he would definitely like be very successful again, all over again. And you can especially tell this because his career didn't happen because he was lucky at all.
Right, yeah.
He naturally grew his audience. He just like got a little bit of exposure, like 5 to 10 viewers at the beginning, and then he just entertained them so much that they wanted to come back. They told their friends. It slowly grew. It's a very gradual growth curve. And then, in the few hundreds, he gets some Reddit clips, and then it starts getting really explosive. But I guarantee you, like, it's all calculated.
Yeah.
Or most of it is. Like, I would never say a specific event is going to make me gain popularity, but my strategy in the early days of streaming, if you didn't know, I originally exploded off of a Reddit post. I was this mysterious Korean Riven player. I'm not Korean, but my username was. Mysterious high-ranked Korean Riven player. And I was very good at the game. Everyone makes a Reddit post being like, who's this mysterious guy? Right? Like, I know that that's half of why I made my name like that. Because I know that it creates a cool mystery and people want to figure out who I am. I'm not saying this move made me famous, but it put me in a situation where cool things could happen around me. Okay, and then also, if I want to climb rank in League of Legends, I could just learn many champions. But I know that being the best Riven player for those few years is way more catching than, hi, I'm like the same rank as Dyrus, who was the most popular top laner at the time. Like, no one cares. So instead, I like really focus on that spike of, that selling point of, like I'm the Riven guy. Come watch me. I do a lot of these things, and most of them don't really matter. But I guarantee you, eventually I'll hit one that does. Yeah. So if I were to restart from 0, I wouldn't say I'd build it back up, my viewership up to the same amount in a year. But I definitely think I would have at least 1,000 viewers within 1 year. If you were to erase the name BoxBox from everyone's memory, I do think with my current skills and my current knowledge of what goes viral, I could at least recreate some things. I would basically fire off a bunch of things. Like, I would try probably like over 50 different things that might go viral. Yeah. And then one of them's going to stick.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. I would say for me, I've been streaming like a little over half a year. I think in my first few months, I was like really focused on like improving my Twitch, but more recently, I've been really focused on improving my TFT. So like I haven't done that much on the Twitch side of things, but after this conversation today, I'm definitely gonna think more about it. And now that I finally hit rank 1, I have some time to like time to chill out on TFT. And the tournament just happened. And so now I have time to chill out a bit on focusing on the TFT and focus more on Twitch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I imagine it'll be really hard to maintain rank 1 if you are also trying to figure out how to be funny. it's like a very limited window that you have, but it's also very powerful. I was never rank 1 in League of Legends. The highest I ever was rank 3. But yes, I was the rank 1 Riven player for like 6 months to a year or something like that. So I had that time to learn my audience and figure out what I can do to make them want to stay.
Cool. That sounds great. Well, thank you for your time. I feel like I learned a lot. I will definitely need some time to digest this. Are there any shout-outs you want to give or last words you want to say?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna be honest with you. I said absolutely, thinking that I would think of something quickly, but I didn't.
Wow, that was very deep.
I definitely feel like there should have been something.
That silence thing you said earlier.
But I couldn't think of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's how I answer most of my questions. I just started off with something that I think is eye-catching, and then I just trust that I'll think of something later to finish it off.
Well, earlier you told me sometimes the best thing to do is to say nothing. So I feel like that was a very anyone who watches this episode and who has watched all my episodes will remember this shout out more than any other shout out. So
yeah, but yes, thanks for having me. This was very cool. I hope you liked it. I hope you feel like you learned a lot about how you can improve your stream.
Definitely, I have a lot to think about.
Okay.
All right, awesome. We're done.
Cool. I guess I just go back to playing TFT now.
All right, good luck in your games. So this is episode 5 full open, and sign off. See you guys.